Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as host my friends at yarnspirations.com. This is the Bernat Study of Reality crochet blanket designed by me. This is a stitch long and this is week number 1. Week number 1, we're going to take you through the first section to be able to do the round circle today. You'll use a 5mm size H crochet hook. First recommendation up is that we have 5 colors. There's 1 ball of each one of the colors. Color B and color E gets really close to the end of the ball. If you bought the Yarn Inspirations kits, there was 2 balls of each of the colors. Okay, so you'll have those extra balls just in case you're not paying attention to that. And the other thing that I would recommend is that on the ball label, just put the letter that you're working with so that you can just see E, A, B, C, D, E. And so therefore, if you see that, you can just leave it off to the side instead of having to go back and say, what is that? The other thing that I did do is that I put at the bottom of this is that what the colors were. It was the pine version, which is this one right here. And the sunshine version, which is another version that we have, I put the colors and you'll see those on the bottom of each one of the pages. On page number 2, you're going to see the other version that I did. It was the sample to make sure that my stitches were right. And so I did another sample and you can see what that version was. So the first thing we're going to have to do, because you're going in a round circle, let's do a quick gauge check to make sure that you're good. This video does use video chapters, so if you want to skip that, just go to the video chapters in the video description. You'll see the time markers, and also the pinned comments will also have those markers. So let's grab our 5mm size H crochet hook, our Bernat Super Value, and let's do a gauge check first. So let's take a look at the gauge here. The gauge was 13 double crochet in 7 rows. I've done a slight alteration, equals 4 inches. This means that in between a 4-inch span, there is 13 double crochets and there is 7 rows that equals a square in order to do that. So let's proceed on making the swatch first, and then we're going to take our measurements and show you. Gauge check. With color A, because you're going to use that up right away anyway, so you might as well do that so you don't have this yarn left over. And we're not going to cut it, we're going to frog it at the end, so it means to rip it. I need you to chain 18. So 1, 2, 3, and 18. At the end of 18, we're going to continue and we're going to go 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, and 3, and get the back hump of the chain because it'll look nicer, even though it's a swatch. And I want you to double crochet that. And keep double crocheting on the back hump of the chain all the way across. And I'll be right back in a moment. Coming up all the way to the end. So what I need you to do is turn your work and start your first official row. So just chain 1, I prefer that, and just double crochet in each one of the stitches across. So what I want you to do is that I want to see a total of 8 rows so that we can take an accurate measurement. It takes about a couple rows for this to settle out, to get the compactness of it. So what I want you to do is keep going back and forth so you can count 8 rows. So this is row 1, row 2, and I'll be back when 8 rows are complete. Do not fasten off. So with your swatch laying flat, do not trim your yarn. We'll be frogging that out in just a few moments. And you were going to take your measurement. I'm not going to come from the edge because I can't see it here because of this add-on. So I'm going to go from here to here, which equals 4 inches, and I lay it right down on the project. So don't start on an edge, just start one in like that, and we're going to count the number of stitches that are in between that span. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So I have 13 double crochets in this. So if you had 14, 15, and 16, it means that your stitches are too tight. You need to increase your hook. If you had something like 10, 11, or 12, it means that your stitch or your hook is too big. You need to decrease your hook. So you'll have to retry to do that. Because you're going around a center point, the stitch gauge matters the most, because if you're too tight, then what happens is that the blanket will start to buckle and not lay flat. And if you're too loose, it'll ruffle out and create ruffles that are not repairable. So let's take a look at the height. So again, within a 4-inch span, so I'll go right from the last one here, and we'll count the number of things that you see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 double crochets in the vertical. So that means that there's 7 double crochet rows. Same thing. If you have more rows than that, it means that your hook size, your stitches are too tight. You need to increase your hook size. And if you don't have 7 and maybe you have 6 or 5, it means that your hook size is way too big and you'll have to decrease your hook size in order to get those to go back down. So hopefully that helps, and we're going to head right into our project. You just need to frog out this yarn, so don't waste it, and just begin. We'll be using color A as we start our journey. Page number 3, you're going to find all the abbreviations for everything that you have. The blanket is 50 inches by 50 inches, and we also have some notes on this particular pattern, which is on then page number 4. So we're going to flip on through. And some of the notes that we have on here is that the stitch counts are provided as a circle until the blanket transitions to a square. And once it transitions to a square, it's going to give you the stitch counts of the sides. So the chain that make up a corner are never included as part of those stitch counts. So the stitch count is from the first stitch out from a corner to the last stitch before the next corner, and that's what they're going to do. Okay. And so in the pattern, it says chain 1 means to physically crochet a chain 1, but if it has a hyphen, that's a locator. So if it says you need to chain 1, so you chain 1, but it says if you need to put 2 double crochets in a chain 1 space, chain 1 will appear this way. So it's a locator of where the stitches are going to go. So you're going to find these crochet diagrams all throughout the pattern if you have the paid download. There are lots of these crochet diagrams all mixed throughout the whole pattern that you'll be able to find, and they're blown up to be quite easy to read. They take me a lot of time to be able to do. You'll find stitch keys available to you to all the stitches, and also a crochet diagram that you'll find. So we're going to begin. The free version of this pattern does not include the crochet diagrams, but we'll include something like this so that you are good to go. So we're going to start now with week number 1 with the color A, and I'll color the colors as we go, and we'll try to make it as seamless as possible. What I would consider doing though is at the end of each week, go in, weave in your tails, and then move on to week number 2 with all of your tails woven in, and make sure that you use a tapestry needle to do that. Let's begin with color A with the start of this blanket, which is the center, and you'll find nice big blown up pictures throughout the pattern as well, especially at the end. Let's create a slip knot to start, and we're going to begin by inserting our hook in and chaining 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and insert our hook into the beginning chain and yarning over to pull through as a slip stitch to form the center ring of your blanket. So make sure the tail end is wrapped around that ring, so when you go through on the first round, it gets stuck into position. Let's begin round number 1. Round number 1, you're going to chain 1. That will not count as a stitch, and I need you to put 12 single crochets into the center of this ring. So we have 1, and it's going to be tight. 2, go right up over top of the straggler. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and if you're running out of space, just pull it because it's just floating. 9, 10, 11, and 12, and make sure that you have the correct number at least the first time around to make sure that you are set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, slip stitch to the first one, and we're going to keep this color. Moving on to round number 2. That's if there's any tail hanging out from that straggler, just make sure you take your scissors and cut that out and get it out of your face as you're beginning this stitch along today. Let's move on to round number 2 with the same color. The stitch counts are provided on the pattern for both the free version and the downloadable. You're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the same one at the join, put another double crochet in. So each one of the 12 stitches are going to have 2 double crochets each. So we have the first one done, and so you will continue to put 2 double crochet in each of the stitches all the way around for round number 2. I'll see you at the end of the round. At the end, I now have my last one in, and I'm going to slip stitch to the beginning. And when the pattern says to break, it means that this section is not done. When it says fasten off, that means that the whole section is done or the blanket is done. So you will notice that it will say break A, B, C, It's the word break means that we're just changing out the colors, because when I first started crochet, it said break. I was actually breaking the yarn with my hands because I didn't know what it meant. So we're just going to just pull it over, and I'm going to show you how to weave in the ends. We'll do that now, just in case you feel like doing it as you go. And take the ends, and the blanket will never be turned over to the back at any point to stitch on the wrong side. So always favor the back side when you're going to place in your tail. And I went through between the strands. It's really highly beneficial that you break the strands apart from each other as well, and even use the existing tail that you just used to come on through to get it trapped truly into position. It's one of those things though, if you ever have to undo this thing, good luck, Chuck, which is the whole point. But that needle should never be deep, that you see it on the front side at all. So back and forth 3 times, cut it, you're good to go. And we're ready for B, the color B, for the 3rd round. So let's begin number 3. Start with the slip knot onto the hook. We're going to use the chain 3, is the same one that the join was attached to, and we're going to do a standing single crochet in the back post. And so what you're going to do is take the hook, come in between the stitches, the post, and this is the chain 3. Take that chain 3 back with you, so come on the other side of that and place the hook through so it's on the back. Yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the 2. That was a standing single crochet back post. The rest of this round is really quite simple. The next one is a front post single crochet. So come on the front side, in between the post, and then come back out. So we're isolating it, pulling it forward, yarn over, pull through, and pull through 2. So the next one is a back post. So in between the next 2 posts, take that post backward, pull through 2. And the next one is a front post single crochet, and you're going to do that all the way around, and the texture for our blanket has just begun. I'll see you at the end of number 3. When you come around, the last one will be a front post single crochet. That's because you're alternating, and you're going to join with the slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet, standing single crochet back post. So just grab it from behind the top of the stitch, yarning over, pulling it through and through, and we're going to carry this color into round number 4. Let's begin number 4 next. Round number 4, you're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, that's a double crochet, and the 4th one is a chain 1 space. You're currently on the back post, so the front post is your next one right here, the front post single crochet, and you're going to double crochet into the regular top of the stitch. Chain 1, and then double crochet into the next stitch, which is on the back. Okay, so every stitch is getting something. It's always a double crochet, and you got to make sure there's a chain 1 that will separate them as you go all the way around. Okay, so chain 1, and just do that all the way around for round number 4. I'm coming into my last stitch. I double crochet, chain 1, and then I join it to the 3rd chain up of the beginning chain 4. And this will be ending of this one color here. So we're going to be moving on to the color C in just a moment. So just fasten that off if you want to weave it in now, or leave your tail hanging out. That's up to you, and we'll see you on round number 5 in a moment. So let's begin with the color C, the tutorial version. This is the color Lush. Now, this particular round during the testing phase threw off some of our journey members. Not every space gets the same amount of stitches. So when we go to start this off, you're going to notice that there will be 3 double crochets in the first space, 2 double crochets in the next, 3 into the next, and then 2, and then 3 and 2. So you need that odd count, because if you put the same amount of stitches in each one of these, you're going to have a problem. So starting in the very first one, okay, this is the join, so start right here in this space and just put your hook into the space with your yarn already on and slip stitch it to join. You're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and put 2 more double crochet into the same space. Okay, and then toss the tail to the back. So the next one has to have 2 double crochets only. So you're alternating between the counts. all the way around. So on your very last space before this, it should be 2. So it's always 3, 2, 3, 2 all the way around. Okay, the stitch counts are available on the pattern if you need it. So there's 3 in this one, and then there's 2 into the next. Please do this all the way around for round number 5. So I'm coming up all the way around. The second last space is a 3 because it was 2, 3, and the last one before the ending is 2. This is the end of this color. Then for round number 5, okay, let's join it, get rid of this color, and get ready with the color D in just a moment for round number 6. So let's begin with the color D on the 6th round. Now what I want to call out to you the most during testing, people were considering that these groups of 2 and 3 kind of matter, but I don't want you to do that. I want you just to look at this, say you have 60 double crochets that were done, look at it as 60, forget the idea that they're in groups of 2s and 3s, because that's where people are going wrong. So what we want to do is we want to start with a slip stitch into the first one of the joins. So it's the chain 3 right here. And we're going to, with this already on the hook, this is the color Masala. This is my color D. So join it with the slip stitch and then chain 1. And then we're going to cluster chain 3 and cluster into the same stitch. So to do a cluster, you're going to yarn over and you're going to come into the same stitch and in, pull through 2 and hold. You want to do that a total of 3 times. So yarning over and into the same one, pull through 2 and hold. Yarn over and in, pull through 2 and hold. You should always see 4 loops on your hook before you're ready to make this to a cluster. And to make this to a cluster, you're going to pull through all 3, toss the straggler to the back side now, and chain 3. And in the same one that you just did that in, do that again. So just yarning over and in, pull through 2 and hold. So how many of these loops do you look for when you're done a cluster? Yeah, it's 4. I don't know if people ever answer me at home. I've heard they do, I don't know. So you got 3 loops and plus the beginning, so you got 4, so pull through everything. So the trick in this particular one is that you are then going to chain 1 and then start another petal cluster. So I call these petal clusters. So to do that, you were going to skip a total count of 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and petal cluster into the next. So yarning over and in, pull through 2 and hold. And wrap it again, pull through 2 and hold. Pull through. You got 4 loops, pull through everything, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, same one, do the same thing. So yarning over and in, pull through. So if you need those stitch counts, they're available on the pattern. And there's going to be a total of 15 of these petal clusters going around. So this is 1 petal cluster, this is the second one. Pull through all of them, and before you jump to the next one, chain 1 first, skip 3, so 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th and petal cluster again. Please do the same concept all the way around for round number 6, and we're going to be ending this color at the end of the round. I'm placing my last petal cluster in. Now in the future, you're going to notice is that there's 15 petal clusters right now, and 15 is not equally divisible by 4. And the reason why I mention that is that in the future, when we go to place those corners that you see in the blanket, it's going to be very reliant on the stitch count around and not necessarily what you see. Okay, and we'll explain that when we get there. So after your last petal cluster is in, chain 1, and you are going to slip stitch it to the beginning petal cluster, and you're going to fasten that off. We're going to go on with the color E next. Let's begin with the color E. In this case, it's called Hot Blue. It doesn't look very hot, but it's hot. And what we want to do is the space before the join is where you're going to attach, and we're going to do a slip stitch, chain 1, and a single crochet into the same space, and toss the tail to the back. Nice easy round. just chain 3 and come to your next space, which is in the middle of a petal, single crochet, chain 3, come to the next space, which is in between 2 petals. So you're either between the petals or you're in the middle of a petal. So chain 3, and you're going to do that all the way around. Chain 3. So just concentrate on the spaces for round number 7. I'll be right back in a moment. We're going to keep this color going to round number 8. Coming all the way around, chain 3. These colors remind me of my childhood. I grew up in a town where there was a beach and my parents had an amusement park, but these remind me of the inflatables that used to be sold in the stores, the colors. But does it remind you of anything? That's what's flowing into me. So chain 3 and join with the first single crochet, and we're going to move on to round number 7 using the same color. Pull up the tail that is existing so far, and you are going to slip stitch to the first chain 3 space to start. And right here, you're going to chain 1 and place in 2 single crochets into that. Go right up over top of that chain. You are still going to use a tapestry needle to hide that in later. And just toss it to the back. The next space that you'll be playing with, there will be 5 double crochets in it. So it's going to create a fan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The next space, only 2 double crochet or 2 single crochets. So you're either doing a fan or you're doing 2 single crochets. So the next one has to be a fan. So there's going to be a total of 15 of these fans that will happen, and then 15 spaces that have 2 single crochets in it. And you'll find those counts on our pattern if you need it. Okay, so the next one has to be single crochet for twice, and the next one is a fan. I need you to do that same concept going around for round number 8. The last space before the ending of this will be a fan. Okay, so it's just a matter of keeping in counts. So there's 5 double crochet essentially. And then you'll join it to the first single crochet you started with. And this is the end of this color, so we're going to carry on to round number 9 with the color C. In my case, we're going to go back to Lush. That's my color C. I'll see you at the beginning of round number 9. Round number 9, we're going to add some more texture now. We're going to create a slip knot and put it on there, so the color C. And we're going to do a standing single crochet back post, but this time those single crochets that we did, we're going to use it and pretend it's just 1 stitch. So when you go in, you're going to go into the space before the first single and then the space after the second single and just wrap it around both. And then pull through and then pull through 2. And so that just encased the 2 together like that. This is a really easy round, and we're just going to chain a total of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jump right over the fan, so that's going to reach right over the fan. The dog hair is included today, and you're going to come into your next group of 2 single crochet, and you're going to come in before the first single crochet and then going into the space after the second, trapping both of them in, and then pull through 2. And this will almost appear on the back side of it because it's just like a layer that it's creating. So chain 5, and then the next single crochets, trap both of them, single crochet back post, and then chain 5. Please do this all the way around for round number 9. You got your 5, slip stitch it to your first standing single crochet back post. We're going to keep the color going to round number 10. I think you'll like round number 10 too. Keep that straggler with it, and we're going to trap it into this chain as we go around. You'll still use a tapestry needle, but it's extra security for you. Let's begin the 10th round. The 10th round, we're going to be bouncing between the space and the first one here, like the middle stitch. So there was 5 double crochets in here. The middle one gets actually used, but the rest of it is using the chain. So just chain 1 to begin, and around the chain, place in 5, and the chain, place 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then you were going to single crochet into this one right here, but you were still going to pass through the chain at the same time. So going in to the middle one and go over that chain completely and pull through and pull through the two, and that trap that chain with that space at the same time so you don't end up with the really ugly gaps. In the same space on this side of the fan, it's going to be 3 single crochet. So it gives you a total count of 7. So 3 was before, you secured it for number 4, and then 5, 6, and 7. So now you're going to continue around. You can throw the straggler around and start in your next space. So do the first 3, so 1, 2, 3. The fourth one is going to come into the middle one of the group of 5, going in, trap that chain with it, single crochet, and then use that space. So use your finger just to pull it out of the background and do the 3 single crochet around that space. Okay, so you're playing within 2 layers of this, and this will hold it back to make it really quite awesome. So 3 single crochet in the space, the fourth one holds the middle, 3 single crochet in the same space on the other side of the center point, and continue that around for round number 10. And we'll be joining the color A on the 11th round next. And coming up all the way around, just securing the last space in, and I'm going to slip stitch it to the beginning single crochet where I started. And this is the end of this color, and we're going on to color A next, and that'll begin our journey. I'll see you on number 11 in a moment. So let's begin round number 11. We're going to start off with a unique concept. So we have the first single crochet that started this, and then we have the last single crochet that finished this right here. So what we need to do is put those 2 together the very first time. So come into the last stitch before the join and insert your hook in with the yarn already on. Okay, and you're going to pull through. Okay, that was a join with a slip stitch, chain 1, and we're going to use that same stitch and the first one of this space to do a 2 together single crochet. So come right into the first one, pull through, hold it, and then come into the first stitch here. You see 3 loops, pull through everything, and that's a 2 together to start us right off. We're then going to go in chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and it's the one that comes down, so you're skipping over the amount of stitches that you have. Okay, so you're skipping over the next 2, but just look for the middle one that comes into the petal below, and in that one you're going to apply 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you were going to come into the last one of this one here before it goes into the next. So last one here, it's a single crochet 2 together, so pull through, come into the first one of the next one, pull through everything, and that's a 2 together single crochet, chain 3, and then look for the middle one right here, and that's 3 double crochet in it. And you're going to do this all the way around. Okay, so chain 3, look for the last one right here, so skipping 2 essentially, get the first one of the next one, next group, pull through, and then chain 3 and 3 double crochet in the middle. Do this all the way around for round number 11. Finishing up round number 11, chain 3 and slip stitch it to the beginning single crochet 2 together. We're going to keep this color going then, and the yarn that you frogged out for your swatch is almost used up, so you don't have to panic attack or leave me a comment about that. But we will start round number 12 with the same color as we continue our journey today. Round number 12, we're going to make these flower petals that you cannot see yet being more jumping out. Okay, so each one of these 3 double crochets are going to turn into a petal using the same color. So as we begin our journey today, we're going to start right where we are, and we're going to chain 4, which will count as 1 double crochet and a chain 1 space. So 1, 2, 3, there's a double crochet, and the 4th is a chain 1 space. Starting in the very first double crochet right here, we're going to do a cluster just like we did down here. So we're only doing 1 by itself. So just going in to the first one, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold, and do that 2 more times. Okay, and then pull through all of that. Now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the middle one, which is the very next one, another cluster. And then chain 3, and then the last one is another cluster. I know, don't even bother to leave me a comment about that. It's just what it is. Okay, so you got your clusters. So that one has now expanded out. Now you're going to chain 1, and in this single crochet 2 together, it's going to be 1 double crochet that's sitting by itself. And before you begin another one of these, you have to chain 1 before you start, and then start in your first one for a cluster. Okay, and now you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Go to your middle one, cluster. Okay, chain 3. And then cluster again. So my yarn just got used up that was used in the swatch. So we're good, no panicking. Chain 1 before you move on, double crochet into the single crochet 2 together, chain 1, and then start this all over again. So you're creating this to be expanded just like that. So this is round number 12. At the end of the round, after the last cluster is in, don't forget the chain 1 first, and then you're going to join it to the 3rd chain up to conclude that, and that will be the end of this color as we move into round number 13 with the color B, and I'll begin that next. Round number 13 with the color B, in my case it's the color grass. So I'm going to go to a space after this chain 4 that we started with, so we're going to be concentrating on spaces for this round, so it'll be pretty easy and painless. So just come into the space before the first grouping of the clusters, and you are going to start there, join, okay, and chain 1 and single crochet into the same space. So concentrate only on the spaces. So the next space that you'll have here, there will be 4 single crochets in there. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next space here, it's part of the petals. It's going to have 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the next space before the next double crochet is just going to be 1 single crochet by itself, and then we're going to repeat again. So right here after the double crochet, 1 single crochet is by itself. The first chain 3 after the first cluster is going to be 4 single crochet. The next one here is still part of that cluster area. It's going to be 4. And then the next space after the last cluster but before the double crochet is 1 by itself in there. So just go to the next space, 1, 4, 4, 1, 1. Okay, so please do that all the way around for round number 13. And we got to watch how we join it at the end according to my notes, and I'll see you at the end. Coming at the end of number 13, come into the last space. When you slip stitch, I want you to slip stitch to the back loop only. Don't go into a full stitch, go into the back loop because that's where we need to be to start. In round number 14, I'm going to leave you the biggest, wettest tip that you've ever heard, and that'll be coming up next. In round number 14, we're currently not going to add any stitches. We're going to follow this around, but we have 150 stitches, but we need to get ourselves to 148. So we have to eliminate 2 stitches somewhere, and we're going to eliminate 2 stitches within the beginning right here, and about halfway mark we're going to eliminate the second stitch so that it stays equal, and so it'll get us to 148, which is divisible by 4 as we begin. So we need to, there is a sequence to be able to follow on the tops of each one of these petal lookalikes, but midway through we're going to have to do something different, and I will show you that tip in just a moment. So without baffling you too hard, we're going to start off with the chain 3. That's your first double crochet. So I want you to ignore the first single crochet back loop only and just do the next 6 in a row. So we're just going to do as a single crochet in the back loops for the next 6. So the very first petal is unique compared to the rest of the other petals, except for midway through, and I'll show you that one. So do the first 6 after that. So it's got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So because these are going up and down, this stitch needs to be longer, so it's going to be an extended single crochet. So how you do that is you go into there first, yarn over, pull through 1 loop only, and then through 2. That's an extended, it makes it taller, but it's not a half double crochet. We're then going to focus on the 2 middle single crochets here. Okay, you see them, there's the double crochet that comes down. They're each going to be a double crochet. So we start off then until about halfway. Here's your repeating sequence. So in the next one is going to be an extended single crochet in the back loop only. So just go right in, pull through just 1 loop, then pull through 2. And what this is going to do is going to make it nice and even as a circle. The next 6 in a row are each going to be a single crochet. Now we get taller again. So the one before the 2 singles that are here at the bottom of like of an indentation, it's going to be an extended single crochet first, and then we have the 2 double crochets in a row. So I need you to repeat what you just learned in this section until about halfway across. So coming around and about halfway, because we need to eliminate 1 stitch on this end. So what we have to do is repeat it a total of doing it 6 times. And so you've technically done it once, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is about the halfway mark, and this is where I'm going to pick you up to make sure that you do skip that stitch so you get yourself to 148 stitches. So keep repeating what you learned. So it's a total of 6 times, and I'll see you here in a moment. So I'm just coming around and I'm at the halfway point, as I mentioned. So before I start again, I have to double crochet that was existing as part of this one. And when we start a new section, it's double crochet in the back loop only. Now to skip a stitch, we're going to ignore the next one out. So we're not going to put an extended single crochet in there. We're just going to pretend it doesn't exist and just start immediately the second one over and single crochet the 6. The dog's barking at nothing. Okay, so we got our 6 in a row, and then you go down again. So make an extended single crochet to get taller. Oh, now there comes the cat. Oh my God, my life is hell. And now we got the 2 singles that are in the middle, so those become the double crochet again, and then you just continue. So you're not skipping any stitches. So the next one out is an extended single, and then your 6 single crochet in a row. Oh man. Okay, you got your 6. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then extended single crochet, and then your 2 doubles in a row. I need you to do this all the way around for this round number 14. So I'm just finishing up this round, and it's 1 double crochet that's left, and you were going to join it to the top of the first chain 3 that you started with. And you're going to fasten this off, and this is the end of week number 1. So you'll get rid of this yarn, and in week number 2 we're going to immediately start filling out your corners. And it's actually week number 2 is interesting. I've never done anything like that before, so that was new for me, and hopefully it's as good for you as it was for me. This is it for today. We hope that you enjoy. Make sure that you do have your stitch counts being proper of 148 stitches that were in the circle. So if you have 149, just do a 2 together single crochet somewhere closer to where you finished to get it down to that number. And if you didn't have enough, just put an extra single crochet somewhere. But 148 is the magic number in order to get the rest of this blanket to be able to work. I'll see you at the beginning of week number 2 next time, right here on the crochetcrowd.com. We'll see you. Bye-bye.